Hi everyone, I'm using the Psychic Tarot of the Heart for our reading today. I'll choose 3 from this pack and I'll also choose some from Carl Gray as well for some extra guidance. So I'm setting the intention for a reading for the highest and greatest good for the collective, or anyone who views this video asking for some guidance during these very potent energies. There we have the 9 of Swords, the 5 of Wands, and 2 want to come out, which is the Ace of Cups and the Tower. So where we're finding ourselves, we could be going through some difficulty of not knowing which way that we want to go. We're in a place of confusion. The 9 of Swords is our darkest fears coming up for us to face. And as this light does enter Earth and enters into our energy field and we absorb it, we start to move up through the dimensions. And as we move in up through the 3rd and the early stages of the 4th dimension, we are faced with our fears. Because our fears, our illusions, are a deep belief, a belief of who we think we are based on how we've been treated by others and who we are told we are. And we're all so different and we all learn differently, and intuitive people are very sensitive. So we've grown up feeling maybe isolated because we don't learn the same, we're not very mental. I for one don't all things in my head. I can't. But intuitively, I'm guided by my feelings, by my heart. So old fears now coming up for us to face. And this is in our physical reality. It could be our health. It could be our finances. It could be relationship. But old doubts coming to the surface, and these old doubts have got to come to the surface. And I'm speaking into Chiron, and Chiron has gone retrograde today in Aries, and Aries is the I am. So taking us back to our wound of the I am, of who we have been told we are, who we then have tried to please everybody and to really act in a way that brings peace to everyone around us, even though we are not happy. And that's created some conflict. And as we start to break away from old patterns and start to really tune in to who we are and what we love and what we love and the gifts that we have, it's a very challenging time, because we then start to change and people around us might not feel comfortable with that change, because we're no longer appeasing everyone else. And it can really bring up challenges within us of, are we doing the right thing? Should we be going to this place that we're not really feeling, but we don't want to let people down, we don't want to disappoint people. And if we are in that place, then we are coming from a place of feeling disappointment within ourselves, of being let down in our past. So we then go into that place of projecting our pain onto others, of not wanting to let people down. So this is an old wound that Chiron is bringing up for us to really to bring into the light for healing, because we don't need to do anything that is going to create unrest within us. In fact, it's about stepping back, because as children, when we have not pleased the adults, or we have been different, that's caused conflict and challenges in our lives, whether it is with the teachers, whether it is our parents, our siblings that don't understand us. We then start to shrink, and we hide, and we become fearful. But this light is bringing these fears up for us to face, because yeah, it might feel a little bit challenging to actually stand out and start to work and to express our gifts. And people may feel that they don't know us, and maybe they didn't, because we really didn't know ourselves. So this can create some challenges during this time, but that's okay. It may be feeling uncomfortable, but these are emotions that we've suppressed, and we've moved from Cancer now, which was all around our feelings, into Leo, which is shining a light on our self-expression. And it takes great courage to stand and be who you truly are without fearful of upsetting anyone around you. So these challenges, and they're only minor ones, it's nothing that is major, but when they're left unseen, or we keep going into the old reactions and the old ways of keeping ourselves second best, really, making sure everybody out there is happy, even though we may fool ourselves and tell ourselves that when everything out there and everyone around us is happy, that's when I can be happy then. But once we take back our power, and we find that joy within, all this crumbles, because it's an illusion. And once we stand and we come into that connection with the higher consciousness, with our higher self, we have enough energy then to achieve what we are here to do. The Ace of Cups, love coming into our lives, gifts, new spiritual opening up, and a flowering of our spiritual gifts. You can see there the water there is nice and calm. So as we come from these old fearful thoughts and emotions that block us, when we move through them and actually listen to our heart in its purest form, not from any old fears, our heart will always guide us. It's our head that starts to tell those old stories. When we come into our heart, when we come into the pureness of our higher heart, then everything becomes clear. And this is Venus in retrograde in Leo, in the heart of Leo, asking us to look at how we are holding ourselves back based on what other people may think, based on how we feel it might affect someone, when in truth it's not as big as what it won't create as many ripples as what we think it will. It might create some, but then people who are not meant to be in our lives our situations in our lives that are not in that alignment, that authentic alignment, will just maybe fall away, not disappear, or they may do if it's meant to. But it's to understand that, to let go of this dimension, to let go of what we have been conditioned to believe about ourselves, and to actually step into what lights us up from the inside. And that is the healing that's coming through from our hearts, connecting to our spiritual gifts, connecting to romance, to love, to new beginnings. And this is a gift from God of love. And as we open it and take it into our hearts and allow it to dissolve the old illusions of who we are not, to ignite that fire. And this is what Leo season's about. It's about the fire, igniting that fire within us, that passion within us. And then we have the Tower. So a falling away from these, shifting as we move it from within, it moves from our reality. So the Tower card presenting itself during this time of the Lion's Gateway, of the wonderful alignments and old programs that have been playing out from the fall of Lemuria, from the fall of Atlantis, all those fearful thought forms and illusions, coming into the truth now of who we are, and coming into that place of the old falling away. Everything that is not of love falling away, so we don't need to worry about anything that may be we don't need to worry about the future, about anything that we love going away. Things we love and hold dear will stay there, but what the emotions we wrap around these people, situations, will start to heal and cleanse, so that we can see everyone with our heart, that we speak from our heart, from that wisdom, that beautiful wisdom of our heart. It's a gift which creates the falling away of the old that we've all held on to because of fear of letting it go, a fear of what other people will think, a fear of the future, because this is all we know. And as we let go of that, come into our heart, into this beautiful time of healing, with the energy of the spiritual sun coming into conjunction with our sun, receiving those light codes of healing, a breaking down of all structures, which is a positive. This is a purely positive card with the energy that we're moving into. It's the old breaking down of the old paradigms of control, of feeling fearful of doing something that makes us happy, and how that starts to fall away. And you can see that he is old in his heart, and this is Venus in retrograde, asking us to really alchemize the old pains of the past that we may still be reacting from, that creates memories within us, thought forms within us, that we project into our reality. It's a time of immense healing, and you can see the sun there shining. This is the Lion's Gate, this is Leo, this beautiful time of the sun in Leo, bringing in that growth, and allowing the old structures to fall away, because we have the power within us, and that power is compassion. It's not control, it's not power over anyone else, it's actual empathy, it's compassion, it's gentleness, it's peace, and everything else loses its grip, and we are able to expand into that beautiful, into the manifestations that we are creating, that we are focusing on, that don't reside here in these dense energies. And they will present themselves, because it's the universe will be asking us, are you still putting fear there? Are you still worrying what others may think? And as we let that grip go, we fly, we fill with grace, we fill with so much joy. And this is what's happening here during this time. And as I look at the base of these packs, we have higher heart activation, dropping those old shields, opening up to divine love. And as we meditate on that during these times, and alchemizing our heart space, dropping into it, bringing our head and our heart into alignment. So a beautiful time of higher heart activation. I'll ask for another, please, for some guidance. Please bring through it. Oh, there we go. Anukana like holds. This is an energetic shift occurring that's coming through from the galactic masters of light, from ascended beings of light, bringing in these light codes now that dissolve the old rigidness, that dissolve rigidness and help us to flow with grace. So a wonderful time of higher heart activations. And as our higher heart, our physical heart, our higher heart merge together, then we open up to receive these wonderful downpouring of light codes. And again, this is the end of a cycle and the opening up of love, our spiritual gifts, and the time of things falling away, the tower. And the tower is the tower is Mars. The tower card is connected to Mars, which is in conjunction with Venus at this moment. Venus is going into retrograde and dissolving those old, dissolving the resistance to the divine masculine. So pain that's caused us to go into resistance of, on some level, of fearful of love. Now this light code coming in, the retrograde, helping to dissolve any resistance to love. And this is the divine, this is Mars, the divine masculine, the divine feminine, all coming in now, breaking away from these old patterns with the light codes that are coming in, assisting us. So if we find ourselves going over the same old things, take a nice deep breath, and during this time also drinking lots and lots of water, because if we're feeling tired, if we feel that we're going into some negative thoughts, or we're not feeling right, our bodies are aching, a lot of the times it's because we're dehydrated. And as our bodies lift and start to vibrate faster and higher, we need to take in more water to balance everything. So beautiful cards today. Have a wonderful, wonderful Sunday, and thank you so much for listening. God bless. Thank you.